suffering PTSD and a lot of rage over the death of their Primarch. But
oh, so there's still PTSD? Despite the fact that a lot of emotions have been bred out of them. Alright class, settle down and let me tell you a story. I'm still working on false gods, and one of the things I've noticed is that just like in life, you don't get to pick your family, your teammates, or your office mates. There's always that one asshole in an office or a group of friends, and if you can't point out who it is, it's probably you. So why don't we check out the worst and the good guys team, supposedly. But before we do, please like, share, subscribe, do the whole notification button thing to help me out with the algo, and here we go.
horror is a big theme in Warhammer 40k. After all, they have demons, parasitic space bugs, night lords, and dark elder. Just to name a few of the more
I don't think it's a big thing, I think it's the entire thing.
Unsavory entities that can fuel your nightmares. But something unique about 40k is that the Loyalist Space Marine chapters, the good guys, can be just as terrifying, if not more so, as the forces of hell. Loyalists that eat human flesh, kidnap and rape
I forgot what was the name of that poem. You need dark men to do dark deeds, and we should all be glad that some of these dark men are on our side. Something like that. That was the what would you call it? Justification in that film. A few good men. You can't handle the truth. You need men like me to guard the wall.
loyal Imperial citizens build effigies out of skulls and bones and just cause an all-round ruckus. Everything I just mentioned is canon examples of stuff Loyalist chapters have done and do. Very scary Loyalist chapters. Today we'll go over 5 of the scariest Loyalist Space Marine chapters, detailing why they're scary beyond just how they look. Let's get into it.
Great.
When you think of the Ultramarines, you probably imagine exquisite sci-fi Roman architecture, common sense, and a strict code of honor. You probably don't imagine a bunch of Death Guard-looking motherfuckers that build effigies out of corpses, celebrate death, wear the bones of their enemies,
again,
and use
not
fucking
surprised.
power scythes in combat. But here we are. The Mortificators chapter are a successor chapter of the Ultramarines, and they aren't just like some rogue cousin that has run off. They always answer the call of their parent chapter, and were even one of the successor chapters that came to Guilliman's aid upon his resurrection and helped him get to Terra. But how did the Mortificators go from a classic Ultramarine successor to these horrifying, reckless battle monsters?
Let me guess. Unchecked PTSD?
That eat the corpses of the fallen. Well, when they went off from the Ultramarines, they were led to a
Wait, do they still get PTSD? Because they've bred a lot of emotions out of them. Like fear and stuff.
planet via psychic means. The planet was a savage world full of cannibals and death, actually quite suitable as a Space Marine recruitment world. However, they were so savage that even when the Mortificators recruited them, they maintained a lot of their brutal culture. After a few centuries of recruitment, where the cannibal recruits outnumbered the original members, the chapter was like, fuck it, and went full spooky mode. As a part of their recruitment process, a neophyte must kill an enemy warrior, then cleanse the flesh off their head and wear their skull as a mask. Until they do this, they are unworthy to join the chapter. They will often drink the blood and eat the flesh of their enemies, creating effigies out of different body parts to celebrate death and their victory. This does sound very heretical and begs the question,
why
haven't the Inquisition stepped in? Well, it's because the Mortificators are so damn reliable and loyal. Their culture is pretty fucked, but their combat record
Of course, there are always exceptions when it comes to the Inquisition. There's Mars.
is near flawless, and their dedication to the Imperium is unquestionable. They're so reliable that even Uriel Ventress of the Ultramarines
you just have to be good at it to escape the Inquisition.
Died. But yeah, with their Death Guard vibe, cannibalistic nature, defiling of enemy corpses, and their obsession with death, the Mortificators are scary boys. The Iron Hands are one of the least played, loved or fleshed out legions, so it's no surprise that their successor chapters are barely mentioned. However, there are exceptions. The Red Talons being an especially terrifying one. When the legions were divided, it wasn't random. Space Marines who fitted the role of a new chapter were put within it. For example, all the most zealous and hardcore Imperial Fists were to become Black Templars. The Iron Hands were already a bunch of hardcore murder machines, suffering PTSD and a lot of rage over the death of their Primarch. But
so there's still PTSD? Despite the fact that a lot of emotions have been bred out of them. Can someone clarify that in the comments, please?
The Red Talons took this a step further by being made up of the most unstable, vicious, and low-key crazy Iron Hands. They existed purely to get vengeance against the traitors, and would do so.
What was the name of that buffed out space marine in the Iron Fist? That he was short, so what he did was he, bulked up. His shortness was blamed on a defect in his gene seed. So is that it? Or were there defects in their gene seed? That's why they still had PTSD, or that's why they can still feel emotions like fear?
So with extreme ruthlessness. For example, during the Horus Heresy, which was when the Red Talons were unofficially founded from one of the surviving Iron Hands groups that escaped Isfahan, they encountered a world that was under the control of Horus, but like, not really, just kind of subjugated with a small garrison. The Red Talons didn't give a fuck though. They invaded the world, bombed the shit out of the cities, massacred the armies, and as the citizens came out to celebrate their liberators, the Red Talons planted nukes all over the world then left, allowing it to be consumed by a nuclear holocaust. When they became an official chapter, they were the High Lords of Terror's solution to any traitor problem, knowing that the Red Talons were to execute their orders with extreme prejudice. They were one of the 5 Pentarchy of Blood, chapters that were deemed so vicious and ruthless that they were sent to wipe out 11 traitor chapters with relative ease. That's right, they were able to wipe out double their number. Now they might not sound that scary, but you gotta remember how twisted the Iron Hands are to begin with. Self-loathing cyborgs that have removed concepts of mercy or pity from their very being. The Red Talons were the
See, they were removed. But here's the thing, right? You remove fear, but you still have anger, hatred. How does that work? How do you isolate that? I mean, what's the point? I remember in the film Equilibrium, Christian Bale. You know what? Just, check out the movie. It's been around for more than a decade, so it's no longer my fault, but check out the movie. It was awesome. Here's the thing, right? Everyone was forced to take these pills or these meds that would suppress emotion, because apparently emotion is the bane of mankind and is the root of all evil. It is the cause of all war, stuff like that. But if you suppress all your emotions, what's the point? Like, his wife was a sense offender or an emotional offender because she stopped taking her meds. So she was executed. He was a single dad, just working his way through as a cop or something. And you know what? They had 2 kids. So like, what was the point of making kids if you didn't have any emotions to go along with it? I'm pretty sure you still feel an orgasm, but if you were doing the deed with another person, there has to be some level of emotion needed in order to perform the deed. So in this particular case, how do you remove it? You've got anger, hatred, you've got pain, but how do you, separate that from PTSD, from fear? Anyways, let's keep on going.
Psychotic version of these psychos, who would happily kill 1 billion babies in nuclear fire to destroy 10 heretics.
I don't doubt it.
If the Red Talons are sent to your world, then I hope you're getting the fuck off it. I've spoken about these guys a few times, but nothing really says terror like the Death Spectres. I mean, their name is already pretty spooky, but that is actually the least scary part about them. See, there exists a region of space called the Ghoul Stars, a place where the dark energies of an alternate realm have leaked into real space, tainting it and cursing everything within it. The scariest part is that this alternate realm probably isn't the warp, it's something more terrifying. The only Necrons in the Ghoul Stars—
Wait, there's another alternate realm apart from the warp? Huh.
are a realm of flayers. The Tyranid fleet that flew through it went insane and became twisted. It's just not a great place. The Death Spectres are the chosen guardians of the Ghoul Stars, the first line of defense if the eldritch Lovecraftian horrors of the alternate dimension ever break through. As befitting a spooky chapter, these guys also use power scythes in combat, but eldritch horrors, Ghoul Stars, power scythes, these are just entrees to the real terror of the Spectres. Since their homeworld is barely populated, because, Ghoul Stars ain't the holiday destination of choice, they will fly out to nearby populated Imperial worlds, kidnap a number of young women or girls, then bring them to a world closer to the Death Spectres. There, the women are then raped by the chapter serfs, impregnated, and then their offspring is then attempted to become more dead.
Alright, that was just bad. Similar thing happened in Rome though, but this is just bad.
Death Spectres. The women are raped over and over, forcing to give births as many times as possible until their fertility collapses. Such is the necessary of the Death Spectres' vigil that they are allowed to continue this practice. To make them even spookier, a genetic mutation
I'm pretty sure there was no official blessing. They just, turn a blind eye to it, or the Empire or the Inquisition just turns a blind eye to it.
In their original Raven Guard gene seed means that they have glowing red eyes and are extremely pale. Pretty sure whoever came up with these guys just went as hard as possible on the edgy side. A fan favorite now, we have the Flesh Tearers. Easily the most hardcore and vicious of all the Blood Angels, and that is saying something. The Flesh Tearers are the only Space Marine chapter who the Orcs don't want to fight and have actually retreated from without firing a shot. This is because of how single-mindedly vicious these guys are. In combat, their Berserker Frenzy is enough to make a World Eater look calm, and they often kill just as many allies as enemies, since once they begin fighting, they often lose control and cannot identify friend from foe. It's no wonder that the Flesh Tearers were another of the 5 Pentarchy of Blood,
so what's the
alongside
point?
the Red Talons. They were just really fucking good at killing. I want you to imagine that you were a guardsman fighting some orcs. Shit's tough. Terry ate a bullet to the face, and the orc line is only a few dozen meters from reaching you and fucking shit up. Then suddenly, Space Marine drop pods. Hell yeah. They land amongst the orcs as Crimson Warriors come out with revving chainswords. They begin cutting into the orcs, turning the tide of the battle. You feel relief, but then something is off. They aren't just killing the orcs, they are ripping them apart with not just their chainswords, but also their claws and teeth. There is no nobility on honor in this carnage. The battlefield becomes a charnel house as these angels of death kill every single orc. It's horrifying, but you've won, right? Suddenly, one of these Astartes turns to look at you, right in the eye. You look back and you can only see madness and hunger. Suddenly, the Crimson Warriors charge at you and your mates. You only have time to say, holy fuck, before your face is ripped off and your body bisected. This actually happened in the lore. And finally,
of course it did.
Last, we have the horrific Carcharodons, the Space Sharks. It's believed that these guys' gene seed is a mix between Raven Guard and Night Lords, a combination that isn't very good for the skin apparently, but amazing for scaring the shit out of people, murdering your enemy, and growing extremely large. After all, Tybros, the Space Sharks chapter master, is the largest Astartes to ever live. Most Loyalist Astartes are defenders, conquerors, liberators, saviors. Only the Space Sharks are predators. They travel for thousands of years at a time at the farthest reaches of Imperial space, acting as a silent predator, intercepting threats before the Imperium even knows about them. Many in the Imperium don't even know they exist, and are always shocked when they pop up and
but remember, sharks are one of the most misunderstood creatures on Earth.
Offer their services, only being legitimate due to the ancient identifier codes they provide still being valid. Once again, the Space Sharks are one of the 5 Pentarchy of Blood, who slaughtered the 11 traitor chapters. I feel like the Imperium was like, who are the most fucking ridiculously terrifying and vicious chapters, and then sent them over for the slaughter. Due to their unstable gene seed, not only is their recruitment very difficult and their skin kind of fucked, with Tybros being especially ugly, but they can gain the Chill of the Void, a multi-stage curse that alters their personality, first by making them cold and antisocial, then by forcing them to lose the concept of mercy completely, before finally they can no longer work in a squad, choosing.
Now, there's something, the Chill of the Void. Of course, it sounds bad, but can someone please elaborate in the comments?
To become a lone space marine that acts as a scout or assassin. Although they don't seem like it, they are incredibly stealthy since they are Raven Guard and probably also Night Lord. Tybros was considered to be so massive that when he was looked upon by a tech priest, they thought he was a statue. I mean, the dude uses what is most likely Corvus Corax's siege lightning claws. To recruit, they perform the Red Tithe. Basically, they descend upon an imperial world and kidnap a lot of people. These people then become serfs, slaves, or if
that's something, the Red Tithe.
They are suitable aspirants for the chapter. If you somehow needed any more convincing, there was a battle between the Night Lords and their demon allies versus
convincing might not be the right word for their recruitment pattern.
The Space Sharks on a prison world, so a perfect environment for the Night Lords' combat style. The Space Sharks systematically hunted down and slaughtered the Night Lords, establishing themselves as the true apex predators. Any chapter that can beat the Night Lords at their own game is a chapter that is pretty fucking terrifying. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up the Majorkill merch. A bunch of fun and pretty practical stuff. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more spooky content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Bye! Thank you for watching, guys. Now, if you want me to check out other stories here on YouTube, please let me know in the comments. We upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. Please like, share, subscribe, do the whole notification button thing to help me out with the algo. And don't forget to check out our Twitch channel where you can catch me do this live. Now, class dismissed.